This video is about finding measures of angles using properties of complementary and supplementary and drawing simple conclusions based on a given set of information. So the first couple problems are a review from the day before. So in number 1, the ratio of an angle to a complement is 5 to 13. What is the ratio of the complement to the supplement? So in this case, we are comparing our angle to our complement. So the angle for every 5 degrees in an angle is 13 degrees in the complement. Remember that to represent an angle that we don't know, we call it x, and to represent its complement, we do 90 minus x. So now we have a proportion where we can cross multiply. So we get 13x equals 5 times 90 minus x. We can distribute the 5, so 13x equals 450 minus 5x. We can add 5x to both sides, so 18x equals 450. So when we divide, that means our angle is 25 degrees, because remember, x is our angle, so our angle is 25 degrees. So now we want to find the ratio of the complement to the supplement. So if our angle is 25 degrees, 90 minus 25 would get us a complement of 65. And 180 minus 25 would get us a supplement of 155. So when we reduce both of those numbers, divide by 5, so this would reduce to a ratio of 13 to 31. In number 2, given that A is complementary to B and C is complementary to B, the measure of A is 2x plus 7, the measure of C is 5x minus 62, find the measure of B. So we know that A is complementary to angle B, and we know that angle C is complementary to angle B. So because they are both complementary to the same angle, if we said A plus B equals 90 and C plus B equals 90, because we're adding to the same angle of B, we now know that angle A has to be congruent to angle C. They have to have the same measure because when we're adding to that angle B, it has to equal 90 degrees. So we now know that angle A has to be congruent to angle C. So we can use that to solve for x. So 2x plus 7 is equal to 5x minus 62. We get 3x is equal to 69, so x is equal to 23. So now that we know x is 23, we can substitute in to get our angle B. So we can do that by finding what angle A and C are equal to. Because they're equal, we can just plug into one angle. So 2 times 23 plus 7 means that each of these angles is 53 degrees. So angle B is going to be equal to 90 minus 53, which is going to get us 37 degrees. In number 3, the supplement of a supplement of an angle is 10 more than 3 times the complement. So usually we do the supplement as 180, but if we're doing the supplement of the supplement, we want 180 minus, parenthesis 180 minus x, is equal to 10 more than 3 times its complement. So the complement is 3 times 90 minus x plus 10. So as we solve here, we get 180 minus 180 plus x is equal to 270 minus 3x plus 10. As we combine like terms, we get x equals 280 minus 3x. We can add 3x to both sides, so 4x equals 280. We divide, x is 70. So if our angle is 70 degrees, our complement is going to be 90 minus 70, so it's going to be 20 degrees. And our supplement is going to be 180 minus 70, which is 110 degrees. Half of the measure of a supplement of an angle is 30 less than twice the measure of the complement. So half of the supplement would be 1/2 times 180 minus x is equal to 30 less than twice the measure of the complement. So the complement is 90 minus x. Twice that means multiplied by 2, and 30 less means subtract 30. So when we distribute our half, we get 90 minus 1/2 x is equal to 180 minus 2x minus 30. When we combine like terms, 90 minus 1/2 x is equal to 150 minus 2x. We can move the x to one side and the number to the other, so we get 3 over 2x is equal to 60. So when we multiply by the reciprocal, our angle is 40 degrees. So if our angle is 40, our complement is 90 minus 40, which will get us 50 degrees. And our supplement is 180 minus 40, which will get us 140 degrees. In number 5, 7 times the measure of the complement is 45 more than twice the measure of the supplement. Find the complement and the supplement. So 7 times the measure of a complement is, so the complement is 90 minus x times 7 equals 45 more than twice the measure of the supplement. So 2 times 180 minus x plus 45. So as we distribute, 630 minus 7x is equal to 360 minus 2x plus 45. When we combine like terms, 630 minus 7x is equal to 405 minus 2x. As we move our x and our number to the other side, we get 225 is equal to 5x. So when we divide, x is 45. So now we know our angle is 45. Our complement is 90 minus the angle, which is also 45. And our supplement is 180 minus 45, which is 360. Number 6, the measure of the supplement exceeds. So where we see this exceeds, we're going to put our is in because this is going to be where our equal sign goes. Exceeds twice the measure of the complement by 20. So the measure of the supplement is 180 minus x. And then it exceeds twice the complement by 20. So we have 2 times the complement, and then by exceeding, we are adding 20 to that. So we get 180 minus x is equal to 180 minus 2x plus 20. As we combine like terms, the 180s cancel out, so we're left with x equals 20. Then we want to find the measure of half the complement. So we know the complement is 90 minus the angle, so 90 minus 20, we want half of that, so we want half of 70, which is 35 degrees. Number 7, the supplement of the complement decreased by the complement is 52 degrees. So the supplement of the complement, so we're going to do 180 minus the complement, decreased by the complement means minus again, so minus another complement, is 52 degrees. So as we solve this, 180 minus 90 plus x minus 90 plus x is equal to 52. When we combine like terms, we're left with 2x equals 52, so x is 26. So if our angle is 26, our complement here then would be 90 minus 26, which is 64 degrees. So we're going to start working on some proofs. Today we're just going to work on drawing conclusions and knowing how we got to that conclusion. The reasons we learned today are the same reasons that we're going to use later on when we're writing longer proofs. So in number 8, E is the midpoint of SG. So our conclusion is what happens from that information. Well, if E is a midpoint, we know that it bisects the segment into 2 congruent parts. So our conclusion then is that SE is congruent to EG. And the reason is that the midpoint divides a segment into 2 congruent segments. Number 9, the angle RGT is a right angle. So because of that, we know that these two rays are now perpendicular. So RG has to be perpendicular to GT. Remember, we want G to be the, sorry, we want GR to be congruent to GT because G is the endpoint of both rays. And our reason then is that right angles are formed by perpendicular lines. Okay, so our last part today is these 4 theorems that we're going to talk about and then apply. So the 4 theorems, if an angle is supplementary to the same angle, they are congruent. So for example, if angle A plus angle B is equal to 180, angle B plus angle C is equal to 180, that means that angle A is congruent to angle C. The same thing happens with the complement. Our other theorem then, that's a little bit different, is if the angles are supplementary to congruent angles, then they are congruent. So for example, if angle D plus angle E equals 180, and angle F plus angle G equals 180, and angle D is congruent to angle F, then we can say, we can conclude that angle E is also congruent to angle G. So let's try these. In number 10, angle A is complementary to C, and C is complementary to D. So notice that they are complementary to the same angle. So because of that, we can say that angle A is congruent to angle D. And our reason, we're going to write out the whole reason. So if angles are complementary to the same angle, then the angles are congruent. In number 11, N is supplementary to angle L, angle G is supplementary to angle O, and O is congruent to L. So because these are congruent, we can conclude that these angles must be congruent. So angle N must be congruent to angle G, and our reason, if angles are supplementary to congruent angles, then angles are congruent. Okay, so we need to make sure that we know the difference between these 2 problems. And your reason has to use the correct reason. So here it's the same angle as C and C. Here it was different angles. So you need to make sure you know both reasons. Number 12, ray IT and ray IH trisect angle EIG. Okay, so here is angle EIG. And then we have 2 rays inside it that are trisecting. So we have IT and IH. So we now know that all 3 of these angles would be congruent. So angle EIT is congruent to angle TIH, which is congruent to angle HIG. Okay, and the reason we know that is angle trisectors divide an angle into 3 congruent angles. Number 13, 2 is complementary to angle 3. Angle 7 has a measure of 121 degrees. So we are going to use our straight lines to find the missing angles. So we know that in this straight line, 180 minus 21 will get us angle 2, which is going to be 59 degrees. If we use the straight line going the other way, we can do the same thing with 8. So angle 8 is also 59 degrees. Now, notice that 2 and 8 were the same measurement. So 1 and 7 are also going to be the same measurement, because if we go back to our original straight line, 121 and 59 are what's making those straight lines. So now we know that angle 2 and angle 3 are complementary. So that means together they equal 90. So we can do 90 minus 59 to get angle 3 is 51 degrees, or is 31 degrees. So now that we know it's 31 degrees, we can do the same thing we did for our other angles. So in our straight line, 180 minus 31 gets us 149 degrees. Same thing for angle 4. That's going to be 149 degrees. Remember that 3 and 5 would be the same then. So that is 31 degrees. In 14, PQR is supplementary to QRS. QRS is supplementary to TWX. So these two angles then, because they're supplementary to the same angle, they're going to be congruent. So if PQR is equal to 8x minus 21 and TWX is equal to 4x plus 27, we want to find x first. So 81 minus, or 8x minus 21 equals 4x plus 27. We get 4x equals 48. So when we divide, x is 12. Once we know x is 12, we can substitute to get our angle measures. So 8 times 12 minus 21 is 75 degrees. Same thing with our second angle, also 75 degrees. Because QRS is supplementary to these angles, we want to do 180 minus 75, so that QRS has a measure of 105.